Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Live Pulse. I'm your host, Clive, and I want to talk about the budget. Yes, that's the one that's going to cripple this country. Now, in particular, I want to talk about the budget in relation to Heywood and what that means. Now, in short, the UK autumn budget introduced a lot of tax freezes, welfare adjustments, and business rate reforms that will directly affect households and businesses in Heywood and Middleton. I mean, residents will feel the impact through higher effective taxes. There's modest income growth and changes to local business rates, particularly in retail and hospitality. Now, retail and hospitality, we have a lot of around Heywood and Middleton. Pubs, clubs, bed and breakfasts, hotels. The other thing is, you've got the key national measures in the 2025 budget. Now, let's just break this down. Key national measures. You've got income tax and national insurance thresholds. Now, they're frozen now until 2031. So that's going to pull a lot of people into paying tax. You've also got the welfare changes. Now, that's the adjustments to the universal credit and housing support, right? Now, that's aiming to help low-income households, but increases are modest compared to inflation. So, in one hand, they're giving people that don't work and are on welfare, they're giving them money or more money. But on the other hand, that money's not going anywhere because of inflation. Now, the other thing to think of is savings and pensions. Right. Now, new rules on ISAs. Now, I know this because I've got ISAs. The new rules on ISAs and pension contributions encourage long-term saving, though immediate disposable income is not boosted. Now, I mean, you take it, if you've got 20,000 quid in an ISA, she has said, right, Reeves has said that, 12,000 of that is yours. Anything over that is taxed. So they're going to take a lot of money off you. The business rates round here, from April 2026, multiple multipliers will apply. Now, retail, hospitality and leisure properties under £500,000 rateable value will benefit from low multipliers, while larger properties face higher charges, i.e. Morrisons, Lidl's, all them type of things. Now, we have to look at the economic outlook. We've got this OBR, Office for Budget Responsibility report, right? They're projecting real personal incomes to grow only at about 0.25% per year for the rest of the decade. Now, that's far below the historic averages. Let's take households. Families in Heywood and Middleton, right? Many of whom rely on wage growth in line with inflation, and they will see more of their income taxed due to frozen thresholds. The welfare adjustments may provide some relief, but the OBR's forecast suggests people will not feel significantly better off in real terms. This is what I'm saying, because of inflation. Your local businesses, your retail and hospitality firms in Middleton Town Centre and Heywood's High Street could benefit from low business rates multipliers if their properties are under £500,000 rateable value. The larger industrial and commercial sites around Heywood Distribution Park will face higher business rate burdens, and that will definitely slow investment. You've got your public services and infrastructure. Now, again, the budget emphasises strong foundations, secure future, with targeted investment in transport and housing. While not town-specific, Greater Manchester is expected to receive allocations that could improve connectivity for Heywood and Middleton commuters. Good for them. Now, this means locally, residents would expect gradual erosion of disposable income due to the fiscal drag, with only modest welfare offsets. Small businesses, the potential relief in the rates, especially for shops, pubs and restaurants, will be minimalistic. The larger employers, they're going to be hit with higher costs, and that will limit expansion and affect job creation. The community outlook, well, the economic growth in the area will remain sluggish. Well, sluggish, it remains stagnant, with households unlikely to feel much better off despite stabilising national finances. And so we've got the bottom line for this is Heywood and Middleton. The 2025 budget is a mixed bag. Households face tighter finances. Small local businesses may gain some breathing room. And the challenge will be whether these measures are enough to stimulate real growth in the region, already balancing cost of living pressures with the need for investment. Now, let's just go back and have a look at the welfare system in Heywood. How many people are on benefits in Heywood and Lancashire? And I've just done a quick totting up. And around 3.5 to 3.9% of working age residents were on out of work benefits. That's universal credit, job seekers allowance, and that's as of September 2025. And it translates to several thousand people locally through Heywood specific figures and are not, pardon me. Now the claimant count, that measures people aged between 16 and 64 claiming benefits because they're unemployed. Now, in September 2025, we've got Lancashire, the 12 area, excluding Blackpool and Blackburn, right? That's 3.5% of working age residents were claimants. Blackpool, Blackburn and Darwin, 3.9% were claimants, and this is slightly below the Northwest average of 4%, but close to the UK average of 3.8%. Now, what this means for Heywood, with Heywood being part of the Rochdale Borough, which tends to have a higher claimant rate than Lancashire. Now that's applying the regional averages. Roughly 1 in 25 working age adults in Heywood are currently on unemployment-related benefits. The figure doesn't include people receiving other forms of support, disability benefit, housing benefit, pension credit. And the other thing to look out for is the economic pressures of all this. Frozen tax thresholds and slow wage growth mean more households may rely on benefits to manage living costs. So what you're going to get here is a case of you're going to get more people on benefits, less people working to pay taxes to keep those benefits going. Your local employment, your Heywood distribution park and the nearby retail hospitality sectors provide jobs, but fluctuations in demand affect claimant numbers. Claimant counts have been relatively stable in 2025, but any downturn in logistics or manufacturing could push rates higher. In Heywood, a few thousand residents are on unemployment-related benefits, representing about 3.5 to 3.9% of the working age population. Now, this is broadly in line with the national average, though local economic conditions could shift the figure up or down. The claimant count in Heywood. Now, your claimant count, that's people aged 16 to 64 on unemployment-related benefits, such as universal credit or job seekers allowance. Rochdale Borough was about 5.1% of the working age population. This is above the UK average of 3.8% and the Northwest average of 4%, reflecting higher levels of deprivation in parts of Rochdale, including Heywood. I mean, if we translate percentages into people, Rochdale Borough has around 140,000 residents with 85,000 of working age. Now, at 5.1%, that's roughly 4,300, 4,400 claimants. And Heywood itself makes up about 15 to 20% of Rochdale population. So we can estimate 650 to 850 people in Heywood are currently on unemployment-related benefits. Heywood's economy, Well, we know historically it was reliant on manufacturing and logistics, Heywood Distribution Park for one, plus retail and hospitality. Now, these sectors are vulnerable to downturns, which explains higher claimant rates. You see, a comparison is Heywood's rate is higher than Lancashire's. Lancashire is 3.5% and closer to urban centres like Oldham or Bolton, which also face above average unemployment. The other benefits is the estimate covers unemployment related benefits. Many more residents receive disability benefits, housing support or pension credit, which are not included in the count. So in Heywood, around 650 to 850 working age residents are currently on unemployment related benefits. That's a higher proportion in both the national and regional averages, reflecting local economic challenge. You've also got the disability and health. 1 in 10 working age adults are on health or disability related benefits such as ESSA, Employment and Support Allowance, or PIP, Personal Independent Payments. That's roughly 1,200, 1,500 people locally, far higher than unemployment only claims. Your national picture, now across the UK, 1 in 10 working age people now claim a sickness or disability benefit. PIP claims have surged, doubling from 2 million in 2019 to over 4.3 million projected by 2030. Spending on sickness and disability benefits has risen by 20 billion since the pandemic, now approaching 70 billion annually. 70 billion pound. Your local impact on all this. Rochdale Borough has a higher than average disability claim rate compared to national figures. Why? And that's reflecting long-term health issues and industrial legacies. Applying that national 10% average to Heywood's, 12,000 working age population gives 1,200 claimants. Given Rochdale's above average rates, the true figure is likely closer to 1,500 people. Now, what this means for Heywood is ESSA. The many claimants are in the support group, meaning they are not expected to work due to severe health conditions, and a lot of these people will not work at all. ESSA rates rose in April 2025 to about £562 per month for support group claimants. Your PIP, your Personal Independent Payments, covers extra costs of living with disability. Claims are rising sharply, especially for mental health conditions and long-term physical. The local economy. High disability claim rates put pressure on the NHS. Well, and immigration does as well. Social care services in Rochdale, they also reduce the available workforce, which affects local employees in logistics, manufacturing and retail. Now, let's just think about that, affecting local employers. The other thing that's going to affect local employers is this workers' rights bill that Labour's been talking about. People aren't going to hire. Your minimum wage now has gone up. So employers they won't have the money to take people on. Your bottom line in all this is, in Heywood, the disability-related benefits far outnumber unemployment claims. Because while about 650 to 850 residents are on unemployment benefits, double that number to 1,500, they rely on ESSA or PIP. Now, this reflects both national trends of rising disability claims and local health challenges. And the biggest part of that is it's mostly mental health. So the main conditions behind ESSA and PIP claims, as I said, mental health is the main one. That's the single largest category. And that includes depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia. Nationally, over 40% of PIP claims are now for mental health reasons, and Rochdale's rate is even higher. You've got musculoskeletal disorders. That's your back pain, your arthritis, your joint problems, and it's common in areas with industrial and manual labour histories, such as Heywood. Now, Heywood's legacy of manufacturing logistics contributes to higher than average musculoskeletal claims. Your respiratory and cardiovascular conditions, COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and heart disease are prevalent, linked to smoking rates and industrial exposure. These conditions account for a significant share of the ESSA claims locally. And then last but not least, neurological, epilepsy, multiple sclerosis, and Parkinson's disease. The smaller in number, but still notable in Rochdale Borough. Now, the context for Heywood is industrial legacies. The heavy working mills, the factories, and logistics have left a long-term health burden. Now, this is historical, especially musculoskeletal and respiratory issues. Socioeconomic factors, higher deprivation correlates with worse health outcomes, explaining the above average disability claim rates. Mental health pressures, now that's rising nationally, but amplified locally by economic insecurity and limited access to specialist services. Now in Heywood, disability benefit claims are driven mainly by mental health conditions, which is what I said, and musculoskeletal disorders, with respiratory and cardiovascular illnesses also significant. This mix reflects both national trends and the town's industrial past. So basically, we're paying for it with our own health. The conditions. I mean, I've got a breakdown here of the ESSA and PIP claimants in Heywood. I mean, you've got mental health conditions, right? That's 45%, which is about 500 to 650 people. Musculoskeletal disorders, 30%, 450 people. Respiratory and cardiovascular, 20%, 300 people. Neurological conditions, 7%, 100 people. And there's other unspecified, about 8%, which is about 120 people. So why these conditions dominate locally is because mental health, that's rising nationally, but Rochdale Borough has above average rates due to deprivation, unemployment stress, nobody can get a job, and limited access to specialist services, NHS. The musculoskeletal Heywood's industrial logistics background means heavy manual work, which puts up higher rates of back problems, arthritis and joint pain. Respiratory, cardiovascular, COPD and heart disease are common in Greater Manchester, linked to smoking prevalence and industrial exposure. Neurological, smaller but significant group, including epilepsy and MS. So in Heywood, mental health and musculoskeletal disorders account for about 3/4 of all disability benefit claims. This reflects both national trends and the town's industrial legacy. Respiratory and cardiovascular conditions had another substantial share, making health-related benefits a major part of the local welfare landscape. Unemployment in Heywood has risen during 2025. Well, no wonder, because there's no flaming jobs around here. With claimant counts up by around 70% compared to last year. Now, that's particularly affecting young people. That's in the 18 to 24 bracket. And older workers, 50 plus bracket. The overall unemployment rate in Rochdale is 4.8 to 5.1, higher than the UK average of 3.8. That tells you something. Your Rochdale Borough, including Heywood, you've got an employment rate of 69.9%. That's ages 16 to 64. Unemployment rate is 4.8%, ages 16 plus, slightly down from 2023, but still above the regional averages. Your claimant count, total claimants in Rochdale rose by 17% year on year. Your youth unemployment, 18 to 24, that's up 10%. Your older workers, 50 plus, up 24%, reflecting difficulties re-entering the workforce. In early 2025, seasonal job losses after Christmas contributed to a spike in claims. Your mid-2025 ONS data shows some recovery, with employment rates improving slightly, but still below the Northwest average. And the overall trajectory, short-term rise in unemployment during 2025. Longer-term trend shows Rochdale and Heywood consistently above national averages, reflecting structural challenges in local economy. The economic base for Heywood: logistics, that's your distribution part, manufacturing and retail. These sectors are vulnerable to downturns and automation. I mean, hell, if any of the factories go automated, then 50% of those people working there won't have a job. Also, you'll need people to look after the automation stuff, your robotics and hydraulics, and so you'll need specialist people there. Youth impact. Now, limited high-skill opportunities mean younger residents face high unemployment than regional peers. Your older workers, well, that's rising unemployment among 50 plus, suggests health issues and skill mismatches are barriers to work. And the policy response, your government's response: Plan for Neighbourhoods 2025 includes Heywood as a target area for regeneration, aiming to tackle deprivation and improve employment prospects. Now, don't get me started on that. This is just 19-20 million pounds that they want to spend on Heywood. What they're doing? Well, building a little park outside the library, dubbing up the flaming library and the social areas. I mean, that would really give people, it would give people a lot of jobs there, won't it? Not. It's just a waste of money. Unemployment in Heywood is trending upwards in 2025, with both young and older workers hit hardest. I mean, there are signs of modest recovery mid-year. Heywood remains above the national averages, highlighting the need for sustained investment and skills development to reverse the long-term pattern. That's what it is. That's where this 20 million should go to. Labour's welfare decisions in the budget, such as reversing disability benefit cuts and partially restoring the winter fuel allowances, are being described as a potential vote changer. Well, that's why they did it. Because in all the areas where you've got a big welfare structure, you give them more money, they will vote for you. And are being described as a potential vote changer because they directly affect millions of households, particularly in working class areas like Heywood and Middleton. And these measures soften the impact of tax rises and could shift voter sentiment in Labour's favour. Now, what did Labour do in the 2025 budget? Let's just go through this. I mean, one of the things was the reversal of disability benefit cuts. Originally planned savings of $5 billion was scrapped after the backbench pressure. This protects claimants of ESSA and PIP, many of whom are concentrated in northern towns. Winter fuel allowance. There was a partial reversal of cuts, added nearly $1 billion back into the welfare spending. Now, this directly helps pensioners, which is another key voting bloc. And then the two-child limit. Labour MPs pushing to scrap the cap on child-related benefits. They adopted it, and they took the cap off. So when you've got families that don't work, they're all on benefits, and I've got about 6 or 7 kids, and they're all getting money for that, for all those children. And it says it'll bring children out of poverty. I don't believe that for 1 minute. Tax rises. The Chancellor extended the freeze on income tax thresholds again until 2031, raising revenue. That's your fiscal drag. The welfare concessions are seen as balancing these unpopular tax measures. So give with one, take with the other. I mean, millions of families, pensioners and disabled people benefit immediately. That's your direct impact on households. The Reeves pledged not to repeat Conservative era cuts, framing Labour as a party of fairness. Yeah, right. That's contrast with austerity. You're protecting welfare while raising taxes on wealth and business allows Labour to claim it's shielding the vulnerable while fixing public finances. You've got to be kidding me. Voter perception. Polling after the budget shows many voters believe Labour has broken some pledges. Some pledges? You look at their manifesto, they've broken every pledge going. They lied to get in there. But welfare protections are popular and could sway undecided voters. Now you've got your high claimant rates. 5% of working age residents are on unemployment benefit, 10 to 12% on disability related benefits. Welfare reversals directly benefit hundreds of households locally. Pensioner support, winter fuel allowances are especially relevant in towns with older populations, making it a visible win. And the political effect? In marginal constituencies like Heywood and Middleton, where Labour and Conservatives have traded control, welfare generosity could be decisive at the next election. Now, your bottom line, Labour's welfare giveaway in the 2025 budget, reversing disability cuts and restoring fuel payments, only to some, not all. And that's widely seen as a strategic vote changer. And it shows up support among vulnerable groups and pensioners, especially in northern towns like Heywood and Middleton, where welfare dependency is above average. And as we can see, that is totally what the budget's going to do for Heywood, which is going to be nothing. You're still going to get people on benefits. You're still going to get people on ESSA and PIP. You're going to get more unemployment because the local firms won't be able to take anybody on because they won't be able to afford it. And this is going to have a catastrophic effect on Heywood. And I say now, we should have an election and we should get reform in to sort this mess out. Heywood needs reform. Thank you for listening.